Football Queensland's coverage of the 2019 NPL, NPLW and FQPL season is brought to you by Play Football. Join the team today. Visit playfootball.com.au to find your nearest club. Football Foundation, making football more accessible for every income, every gender, every ability, every background, every Indigenous Queenslander. Donate today.
Welcome to AJ Kelly Park up here in Redcliffe for this first National Premier League Queensland semi-final between Lions and Olympic. It's first versus fourth, and it is everything on the line here tonight. A rematch of the 2018 Grand Final. These two sides have got to know each other very, very well over the last couple of years in the time that they've both been in the National Premier League Queensland, and we are expecting a tremendous battle here this evening. I'm Simon Smale, and I'll be talking you through all the action here from our commentary position on the halfway line here at AJ Kelly Park, an AJ Kelly Park pitch that looks absolutely fantastic. It's already had 3 games of football on here this evening, and it just looks immaculate. Fantastic job done by the ground staff here at Peninsula Power. I can't wait to get started. Just so you know, the teams, we'll run you through them now, starting with Lions. And Lions will start in goal with number 90, Luke Berean, number 2, Andy Thompson, number 5, Tommy Jarrod, number 6, Nathan Reardon, number 8, Mitch Hoare, number 10, Joe Duckworth, number 12, Sean Carlos, number 13, Henry Hoare, number 14, Jason McQuarze, number 15, Danny Kim, number 16, Josh Brindle South. The substitutes are number 3, Liam Walpole, number 7, Adam Sawyer, number 11, Nathan Shepherd, number 17, Marek Madley, and number 20, Jackson Riley. Olympic today, well, they'll line up as follows. In goal will be Brandon Kumineo, and in front of him will be number 2, Jack Glover, number 3, Steve White, number 6, Matt Mundy, number 7, Shelford Deas, number 8, Kazuya Ito, number 9, Chris Lucas, number 10, Alex Smith, number 11, Jez Lofthouse, number 12, Costa Psaris, number 19, Jean-Philippe Sam, and number 21, we've already mentioned him, Brandon Kumineo. The substitutes for Olympic: number 1, Dakota Sprange, number 4, Kristen Waters, number 14, Eric Panzer, number 17, Daniel Driver, number 22, James Kumineo. Warren Moon and his Lions side have made their way over to this side of the field, and Mooney looks pretty relaxed. He was throwing a plastic chair around just a few moments ago, so must be in pretty good form. As well he might. He's led his side to a second successive premiership, and he'll be looking to get his team to a second successive National Premier League Queensland Grand Final. He wouldn't be able to do that without the support of the sponsors. Toowong, Mazda and Luxury Paints are those that Lions would like to thank. And Olympic, whose substitutes are currently making their way across the field now. No doubt Ben Khan just giving his final instructions in the clubhouse at the moment. Although I'd like to thank the Coffee Club for all their support this season. Anton Shechetin, he's our Total Tools referee. And he's going to be assisted by Izzy Crespo and Misuk Park. So much to play for, but the two teams come into tonight's game in vastly different form. There are certain aspects to why Olympic haven't had such a good run of things of late. We'll go into those shortly. Lions, on the other hand, though, have won 11 games on the trot in the league. Last season they came into the finals on a 12-game winning run to end the season. They also had success up here at AJ Kelly Park. The last time they played up here was back in round 16. They won by 2-1 against the normal host Peninsula Power. Sean Carlos and Jason McQuarze getting the goals. Olympic, in their last 5 matches, well, they've only come away with 4 points. That's 1 win, 1 draw and 4 defeats. Sorry, so that's the last 6 matches. Victory coming against Brisbane City, East's the draw. They have still scored the second most number of goals in the competition with 85. That does pale in significance next to Lions, though, who thankfully won thrashing of Sunshine Coast last week in what was their premiership party up there at Richlands. They have 89, and they've conceded the fewest as well with just 20. Last season it was only 11 in the league. Remember, they've played a few more games this season though. Still kept 13 clean sheets though. That is down from 17 in 2018. Cannot write Olympic off though. In those 6 games, sorry, that they have come off second best the majority of times, Ben Khan has been shuffling his pack. He was focusing on his FFA Cup run. Unfortunately, Olympic going down very narrowly there to Adelaide United at Perry Park just a few weeks ago. Fantastic game of football that one, 3-2 the score there. But he has sacrificed position in the league when it became certain that the Premiership could not be claimed, and they have put all their eggs in the Championship basket, and you certainly can't rule out an Olympic charge here. This team is the strongest team that Ben Khan has available to him. In fact, there's been only one change to the entire squad from the team that lost to Lions that actually sparked a bit of a run of defeats back in round 25, the last time these two sides met at Goodwin Park. Lions running out 2-0 winners on that occasion. Mitch Hoare and Henry Hoare getting the goals. We'll talk more about their partnership as the game goes on, but has been a bit of a rough run of form. The only player that comes into the squad since that round 25 clash is Matt Mundy. There's only one change to the Lions squad in that situation as well. Nathan Shepherd coming into the team. Lots of history, lots of recent history between these two sides. I was chatting to Ben Khan just before the game. He was saying how it still grates on him last year's grand final. They were 1-0 up in that grand final thanks to Steve White goal in the 14th minute. Their supporters were in raptures, and Nathan Reardon got the goal that levelled things up before Marek Madley scored in the 95th minute, 5 minutes into extra time. Nathan Reardon, who had been booked, and there are certainly some suggestions that they could have been sent off, and that the 2 fouls that warranted just for 1 yellow card according to the referee on the day could have perhaps been 2. Well, that's not how history will remember it. Two coaches are in conversation now. Warren Moon able to talk to Ben Khan. As the two teams do make their way on to the park. Olympic normally backed by a pretty impressive support, and you can certainly hear them making their voices heard already. Lions fans will be slightly more circumspect, but they are here, way to our left, behind the goal, applauding their supporters, applauding their players out onto the field in their orange shirts and the blue shorts. It has been tremendously windy here in the southeast corner of Queensland over the last couple of days. That wind has completely died down now, so perfect conditions for football. It is warm. You will be able to see a fair few bugs flying around, I'm sure. We'll certainly know all of them up here in our commentary position, but nevertheless we will do our best to continue as things go forward. Really looking forward to this match. It will be an absolutely fantastic contest. It's worth mentioning though that although the outdoors is drawing to a close, it doesn't mean you have to stop playing football. Futsal's perfect for keeping fit and improving your technical skills come season's end. So make sure you keep your outdoor team together and play football during the season. Visit playfutsalqld.com.au to find out more. I mentioned the wind that has kept things very, very dry, unexpectedly dry and characteristically dry for this time of year in Queensland, and so both players and both teams and players from both teams are keeping themselves very well hydrated as they enter into their huddles. Players coming over to the Olympic bench in particular just to dispatch empty water bottles. Both team captains are in the middle, joined incongruously by Luke Barin in the purple shirt, and again somewhat incongruously wearing a beanie in the warm conditions this evening. No doubt if the wind does pick up it will get slightly chilly, but nothing compared to what the two teams have had to deal with throughout the winter. Should be a fantastic atmosphere here today. You can already hear the crowd getting into this match. That'll only continue. The Olympic supporters made themselves known in the grand final last year, but they haven't had much to shout about in games against Lions. It's been 6 times the two teams have played each other in the past 2 years in all competitions. That includes the FFA Cup. The record is not a favourable one. Olympic have only won 1, 5 defeats, although one of those did come after extra time. Anton Shetinin is just checking with his 4th official, a luxury for finals at this level of football. And it will be Lions, the reigning premiers, the reigning 2-time premiers, who will get things underway. And then it'll be full gas to the grand final. The pieces are in position, the players are set, and Anton Shetinin will get things underway once he's satisfied that everything is ready, and Lions will go onto the attack straight away through Mitch Hoare. He plays the ball straight out wide to Jason Makwaze, who is forced back, but he'll retain possession with Henry Hoare, and that's a decent ball over the top. Flag has gone up though for an offside if our refereeing team get their communications ready early, and will be an early free kick for Olympic. No Marek Madley on the field as things stand. He's Lions' leading goal scorer with 20 this season. He scored a hat-trick last week, including a penalty right at the start of the game in that 7-1 thrashing of Sunshine Coast. He has in fact scored 4 goals in just 5 appearances against Olympic for Lions, so Warren Moon choosing to keep his powder relatively dry. No doubt we will see him later on in the match. Here's Shelford Dyer, such an important player over on that far side of the field for Olympic, where he's dispossessed. Olympics front 3 of Jez Lofthouse, Chris Lucas, and Costa Saros play. They just make football look so easy, and a lot of it comes from that man there, Alex Smith, player with an enormous amount of experience, including in the A-League, played for Wellington Phoenix 41 times. Over across the ditch. He's the heart of everything that Olympic do. He played half a game last week down against Gold Coast Knights, a 4-2 defeat that Olympic experience. As we've already mentioned, that was their 3rd defeat in a row in the National Premier League's Queensland to end the season. Ben Khan opting to hope that his players are rested rather than rusty, and he'll be hoping that they're not rusty. Lucas doesn't look particularly rusty. He was shadowing back there hoping for a back pass. It didn't come, and Danny Kim will look to clear Lions lines. And he's managed to turn Shelford Dayas over on that far side of the field, and Andy Thompson is going to give chase. Instead it's his opposite number, Jack Glover, who gets the touch and helps it upfield. But here's Makwaze, ball stayed in play. Mitch Hoare to brother Henry. Henry on the wraparound. Mitch Hoare's still there. Good defending from Dayas. That's a neat little touch from White over on that far side of the field. Linking up with Jean-Philippe Lassam. And here's Jez Lofthouse, arguably the most exciting player in the National Premier League's Queensland. He loves it when he's got space ahead of him. His pass towards Chris Lucas wasn't as accurate as it might have been. Lions will not want to see the light of Jez Lofthouse in full flight happen too many more times, as Deas goes in rather late over on that far side of the field, and we may well need a little bit of a word in the ear from Anton Chetinin in these early stages. Possibly looked more dramatic than it actually was, but Shelford Deas will have to be slightly careful. Has been booked 7 times so far this season. He will not earn himself an 8th on this occasion. It is a free kick for Lions though. Andy Thompson, former Bulldog from Capella Bar, standing over it. He'll look to sweep this one in. Duckworth is there. It's going to be on him though to Henry Hoare. Costa Saros has been mugged of the ball in that corner. Henry Hoare is still there, but Saros gets back out of the doghouse and then gets himself swiped by Mitch Hoare, trying to help his brother out. They have managed to make themselves a really interesting partnership, the two Hoare brothers, since Henry's made his way back from the West. He's 19 years old, such a talent, Henry Hoare. He scored 7 goals in 9 appearances. They both got on the score sheet the last time these two sides played, did Henry and Mitch. Nathan Reardon just used his body well to his opponent off the ball. It's Jean-Philippe Lassam. Lassam plays the ball wide to Glover, and Glover will look to release Shelford Deas over on that far side of the field, and Deas has room to move. Here's Jez Lofthouse. Lofthouse to Lucas. Lofthouse again. Lofthouse again. It's flashed across the face of goal. Danger averted at these early stages from Lions, but the warning klaxons would have sounded for Warren Moon there, because Jez Lofthouse got in behind thanks to a really good pass by Shelford Deas. That threat is very, very real for Lions, and indeed Olympic will look to utilise that as much as they can. Here they go down the other side. Although the A-League experience, Josh Brindle South does well against Costa Saros. The cool, calm operator, the 26-year-old. Has 2 goals to his name this season. Does Josh Brindle South. Hasn't scored since June though, and that's not really his job. He'll be looking to help maintain that excellent defensive record that Warren Moon has prided his sides in delivering over the last couple of seasons in the National Premier League's Queensland. Just 31 goals conceded in the regular season in 2 seasons. It's incredibly impressive as Saros gets to the byline. He has Lofthouse in the middle. He won't use him. He'll go wide to Alex Smith. Ball was cut out before it ever got there. Here's Matt Mundy. 29 A-League appearances for the Brisbane Roar. In his time in professional football, he's become a stalwart of this Olympic side over the last couple of seasons. He didn't play in the round 25 defeat. He's the only member of the Lions squad that didn't. Deft little touch from Lucas. Here's Lofthouse. Go back to Chris Lucas. 26 goals, 5 National Premier League's Queensland games for Lucas. Shows tenacity there. Mitch Hoare just having a bit of a shove of Chris Lucas for the perceived late challenge on Henry Hoare. 2 brothers backing each other. Didn't look like there was anything in it though, and Mitch Hoare will perhaps be wise to not get involved in those situations. So you certainly could see Chris Lucas just laughing it off. Lofthouse popping up on the left now. They're so dangerous when they switch wings, this attacking trident of Olympic. Lucas. Saros will have a bit of a chase on here, but Brindle South manages it well, and he plays the ball out to Sean Carlos, who scored in the round 10 match. An absolutely fantastic game of football in round 10. 3-2 Lions ended up winning that. It's a scoreline that is relatively familiar. It's happened twice between these two sides in their 6 encounters in the past 2 seasons. One of those came in the FFA Cup round of 32. Another controversial moment in that match from an Olympic perspective. Olympic will still tell you that Carter Glockner was offside when he scored the winner in the 87th minute after Jez Lofthouse had equalised things in the 81st. Hoare to Brindle South. We'll go back to Henry Hoare. Brindle South. Olympic doing well to contain Lions in these early stages. An early touch for Luke Breen, the most casual man on the field, you'd have to say. Kept in well by Brindle South. Will Lions be able to pounce here? Mitch Hoare receives the return ball from Duckworth. Hoare on the rampage. Hoare goes down, and it's a pretty simple decision from Anton Chetinin. Free kick. And a free kick only is what we decide. It was a timely challenge from Jack Glover. It needed to be made. But another dangerous opportunity for Lions here. 9.5 minutes gone. It's Lions 0, Olympic 0. If you've just joined us, this is the National Premier League Queensland semi-final, the first semi-final between Lions, who finished as premiers, and Olympic, who finished in 4th spot. The 2 highest scoring teams in the league. You would expect goals to be scored in this match. Andy Thompson shaping for the cross. Duckworth perhaps shaping for the shot with his left foot. It's a 4-man wall. Anton Chetinin just telling those Olympic players where they need to stand. It will be Duckworth. It hits the back of Jez Lofthouse. The shot comes in from Danny Kim. He's not scored many this season, has Danny Kim, just for 1 goal in fact. That came against Brisbane City in a shellacking all the way back in round 6. Olympic put themselves in a spot of bother there, but they'll get out through Saros, and Saros is going to break free of Josh Brindle South here. Saros inside to White. White will help it on to Lucas. Lucas and Deas getting in a bit of a tangle, but Deas comes up with it. Deas will get to the byline. Will he keep it in? Flag does not go up, but it is a goal kick. End-to-end stuff in these early stages. Neither side able to make the breakthrough just yet. The trumpet's a new addition from the Olympic faithful. Luke Breen will launch this ball upfield in the direction of Duckworth. It was over his head, and Jack Glover just lets it glance off his back to Brandon Kumineo. Lucas goes down under a challenge from Danny Kim. It is a free kick. Lucas pushes at Sean Carlos. Sean Carlos pushes back. Anton Chetinin might need to have a word with both these players here. They can be relatively hot-headed. The conversation is continuing. Anton Chetinin wanted the conversation to happen in front of him so he could adjudicate. There's the potential already for this game to get a little bit niggly, and that's not what we want to see. We want to see free, attacking and entertaining football, and both these teams have the potential to deliver that. Glover switches play to Kazuya Ito, who has his own postcode. He's got so much space on this near side. It's back to Ito, still left relatively unattended. He fizzes that one into Lofthouse, who does well just to get a foot to it, to be honest. He'll come back to Lofthouse by way of Ito's head, but Lions will break. Makwaze was free over on that far side. Joe Duckworth either didn't see him or couldn't get the ball past Matt Mundy and Jean-Philippe Lassam. Here is Lassam, threads the needle to Lucas. Lucas and Carlos just coming into contact again. We'll keep our eye on that battle. It'll be one to enjoy during this first half and beyond. Alex Smith, can't afford to give him too much space. Reardon was turned, Saros gives chase, Reardon does well. Brindle South. Alex Smith sniffed an intercept opportunity there and ended up rushing the forward pass from Sean Carlos. Lofthouse is offside, flag goes up. It was either Lofthouse or Saros. They've moved positions a couple of times, and Costa Saros is feeling the pace of this game pretty early on, just 13, nearly 14 minutes in. Has been a frenetic start, but neither side able to make the breakthrough as of yet. Berean. Thompson doesn't take a great touch, and Steve White rather acrobatically manages to get possession in hand for Olympic. Here's White again. Oh, that's a dangerous back pass. Kumineo did well, but here's Mitch Hoare. Threads the ball through, and had it gone through to his brother, Lions could well have had a shot on target there. Makwaze. Thompson over on the far side of the field in front of the clubhouse. Thompson does well, but there were too many Olympic players. Lassam eventually managed to steal possession, and then Dias finished things off and launches that upfield to Lofthouse. Lofthouse is going to be challenged by Kim, but Lofthouse is just a magician with the ball at his feet. Although his trick that time was to make it disappear and reappear at the feet of Sean Carlos. Here's Mitch Hoare. Tried to thread the needle to Henry. Henry picks Jean-Philippe Lassam's pocket. Lassam did just enough to get the ball to White, and he'll hammer clear, but only as far as Josh Brindle South. Good spell of possession here from Lions. Take a little bit of pace out of the game, and Tommy Jarrett goes to Kim, makes Jez Lofthouse run. Makwaze in a bit of space, but just got picked off there by White. Kim will look to switch here to Josh Brindle South. It's a little bit over Josh Brindle South's head, maybe an inopportune gust of wind, or more likely just a slight misadjustment of the radar from Danny Kim. It's unusual. He's normally fairly adept at hitting those crossfield balls. Saros to Ito. Ito couldn't get that second ball away, and Lions will build again from the back with Jared and Berean. Reardon just trotting back as well. Opportunity perhaps to mention that we'll come back to that. Here comes Sean Carlos. Sam does well. He's so good at disrupting those forward forays by any team. We saw it against Adelaide United in the FFA Cup, just how good a player he is, Jean-Philippe Lassam. And he's launched an attack here for Olympic, but Jez Lofthouse ran into a three-man wall of Lions players, and one of those, Makwaze, will release Henry Hoare, and Henry Hoare is going to go himself here. He's beaten 1, 2, 3. The fourth was Alex Smith. It's still popping around there though, and Henry Hoare went in from behind on Alex Smith though. It was seen by Anton Chetinin. Ito, Saros has space. They've worked that well, have Olympic, down the left-hand side. Lucas has made a run. The pass was somewhere between Shelford Dias and Jez Lofthouse, but Olympic do still have possession. Dias has done well to recover that. Lofthouse is onside. Here's Dias. Makwaze doing his defensive duty. Brilliant for Colombian. Really good stuff there from Jason Makwaze. He managed to get on the score sheet twice last week as well. An emphatic win as Lions celebrated premierships for both their men's and women's team. trumpets back, and Jack Glover will play the ball forward to its merry tune, although the Olympic fans will be hoping the tune changes if it's going to end up at the feet of Lions players. Mitch Hoare in the middle. Carlos tries to spread the ball wide. It was a little bit of this and a little bit of that and ended up being a little bit of nothing, but Shelford Dias did have to work hard to stop Joe Duckworth from getting his hands on the ball. And Marek Madley, no doubt less than enthused about being on the bench for such a massive game, is warming up away to our right. Just letting Warren Moon know that he's ready and available should Lions wish to slightly change the way they play. Imagine the ball will be played longer towards Madley for him to challenge in those situations. Here's a decent ball for Henry Hoare. Kumineo did really, really well though. The hand goes up. Danny Kim has found his radar a little bit better now. Ito inside to Alex Smith. Mitch Hoare gives chase, but Alex Smith lops that one over the top towards Saros. Brian's come a long, long way, and if for a better touch by Kostas Saros, Olympic could have been really up and running there. Brian showing good composure in the end, but he was a long way out of his goal. The collision between Henry Hoare and Kazuya Ito, nothing doing, and Mitch Hoare will look to use his brother, I think, to get out of trouble, but Jez Lofthouse does well in the end. Just enough time to say, as the outdoor football season winds down, the summer football season is just kicking off. Summer football, it's a fun social format played on smaller fields for all ages. It's perfect for keeping fit and playing with your mates during the off-season. Visit the Football Queensland website to find a club hosting a summer football competition near you. That's footballqueensland.com.au. Henry Hoare. It appears that Ben Khan has been keeping count of the number of fouls that Henry Hoare has given away. And he's going to earn a little bit of a discussion from Anton Chetinin about potentially the language being used. Mitch Hoare again is making eyes towards Ben Khan, again in defence of his brother. Warren Moon has stood up down to our right. It will just be a discussion. Anton Chetinin, one of our more experienced referees. But you do wonder when a yellow card will be issued, because Henry Hoare has given away a couple of those fouls. We haven't seen a card yet. White sweeps that one in. It's Carlos whose head cleared the danger for Lions. The Sam. Dias. Alex Smith, it's awkward, and Saros had a shot, it was blocked. That's probably our first actual shot in the general direction of the goal in the 22nd minute of the match. Well, the goalkeeper has been too busy so far. It's been cagey. You'd expect that of a do-or-die final. Danny Kim goes shorter, but a lot of space inside for Sean Carlos. Now Henry Hoare, Brindle South. He'll look to deliver a cross in. He does 3 step-overs, and none of them fall Kazuya Ito. Reardon comes in support. Henry Hoare has his pocket picked by Alex Smith. Excellent experience shown by Alex Smith. But Olympic just can't quite retain possession at the moment, and the Premiers are the ones doing all the pushing. Here's Josh Brindle South. Danny Kim. He'll go back to Nathan Reardon. Scored the equaliser in last year's grand final, the 32-year-old. Former Wolf of Wynnum. Has 2 goals this against Brisbane City and the Brisbane Raw Youth. Quasi. It's dispossessed, but it's still there for Carlos. Now Kim. Hoare. Makwaze. Kim again. Here's Henry Hoare. Henry Hoare is fouled, is he? No. The ball goes over the top, and the free kick is given belatedly. It did look like Henry Hoare was fouled. This is a very dangerous position. And Anton Chetinin Uses his magic spray to demark where the ball should be taken from. It's very close to the edge of the penalty area. Not in a sense that it could have been a penalty, but certainly in a sense of getting it up and over the wall and down again underneath the crossbar. Brandon Kumineo is just marking out where he wants that wall to be. It is important. Andy Thompson and Joe Duckworth again, the two players involved. Duckworth, the former Western Pride star. Henry Hoare has somehow got himself in that wall. Another Lions player just behind. I think it's Tommy Jarrett. Standing in an offside position. He's now making his way back. It's Nathan Reardon. There's two Lions players in the wall now. Reardon has made the difference. Duckworth. It's going to be Thompson though this time. Thompson! That wasn't far away at all. Excellent opportunity for Lions. And as we approach the halfway mark in this first half, it is still goalless. Has to be said, that is as close as Lions have come, as Reardon earns the Bronx cheers from the Olympic supporters. Sam, former Surfers Paradise Apollo player in the Gold Coast League, a side that Olympic met and beat on their way to the round of 16 against Adelaide United. Such a key player against Adelaide. Ben Khan told me just how important a player he was. He just does the dirty work, the stuff that people don't really want to talk about, almost winning those balls back, playing those neat little passes, and he earned his stripes in that Adelaide game. He certainly earned his stripes in the FFA Cup game down at Surfers Paradise Apollo. His former teammates none too pleased to see him playing in the red and white of Olympic. He earned a frightful kicking invasion. Carried himself incredibly well. Here's Lofthouse in a bit of space all of a sudden. Uses Alex Smith, playing in that deeper playmaking role that we've seen him employed throughout this season. Smith gets the ball back from Ito, assessing his options. One of those options was Jean-Philippe Lassam. Deus goes inside. Makwaze's been brilliant defensively so far and wins a free kick there, much to the displeasure of the Olympic fans over on that far side of the field, but Anton Chetinin is a much better placed than I am to make that call. Luke will no doubt be enjoying the attention being bestowed on him by the Olympic supporters. Decent ball forward. Glover didn't need to make a touch in the end. The song is now about Luke Borin's penchant for wearing a beanie, no matter the weather, on his head. He's certainly an enigmatic character, as Kumineo's clearance is blocked by Joe Duckworth. It will be a goal kick. Anton Chetinin just wandered over just to check on Jack Glover then. I think he's okay. Play will be allowed to continue eventually. Glover's pass wasn't a good one. It's picked off by Carlos in the middle, and again Olympic just can't get their foot on the ball for long enough to create any real pressure on the Lions defence thus far, although Alex Smith is doing his best to win the ball back at every opportunity. It's given away again there, that time by Steve White. And Olympic will just Lions will just continue where they left off. Carlos is being pressured by Saros, and Saros did really well. He'll spring back now. Excellent stuff, and we're going to see the opening goal. No, we're not. That's a brilliant save from Luke Borin.
Sean, are you okay?
Chris Lucas Normally puts those away with aplomb. He scored 26 goals in his 25 appearances this season. He couldn't put the ball past Luke Borean on that occasion. And you might have heard on the sound effects Mike Warren Moon just checking to see if Sean Carlos is all right to continue. He does have options on the bench. But you can't afford too many mistakes like that when you've got strikers of the quality of Chris Lucas around. It's Glover who rose at the back post. Has 3 goals to his name this season. His pass to Saros wasn't the best, and is that Mitch Hoare? It is Mitch Hoare who's being kicked and battered around, and a friendly hug on this occasion. There is still concern for Sean Carlos being shown by Warren Moon. Warren Moon asking if Sean Carlos is fine. Yes, the former striker said. And Warren Moon said, well, pick your game up a little bit. Can't afford those mistakes. Flag is up for offside against Joe Duckworth. It's an inexcusable error, really, from a piece. Releases that pressure valve once again. And it would have been against the run of play, but we were ever so close to having our first goal of the game, and it nearly went the way of Olympic. Chris Lucas, 9 times out of 10 he had put that over the top of Luke Borean and into the back of the net, but Borean made himself as big as he possibly could and did just enough to stop the goal. It was an excellent save from arguably the best keeper in the division, and it needed to be. There's an almighty cry, and there's a bit of a push going on for Reardon. Costa Saros was the man who was doing the pushing. Anton Chetinin is just telling everyone to go away. It just looked like a collision, just an inopportune tangling of bodies and legs, and Steve White, the cry was quite extreme. Fingers crossed Steve White is okay. Walking gingerly, it has to be said. Anton Chetinin hasn't given a free kick, and that's warranted, it has to be said. Don't think Nathan Reardon did anything wrong from this angle. And it will be a drop ball, which Joe Duckworth will pass straight back to Brandon Kumineo, who gives the obligatory clap. And we'll get things back underway with Olympic playing the ball short again to Glover, and then it's hammered up field, but Sean Carlos is the player who gets there. Henry Horse slips, and that was important to allow Ito the space. Lucas. Mitch Hoare crashes into Anton Chetinin. Here's Lofthouse. Lofthouse goes to ground. Did he handle the ball? He did. It was definitely accidental. I'm not quite sure where Jez Lofthouse was meant to put his hand there, but this is the world that we live in these days with handball decisions. Good opportunity though. Lions need to be aware of just how quickly Olympics spring that trap. They turn it on like a light switch. When they're suddenly going, they just go and go from 0 to 100 as quick as you like, and they can cause so many problems in those situations, and we've seen that already. We are still goalless though as we go over the half-hour mark in this match. Reardon did well to keep his feet on that occasion and let the ball catch up with him as Alex Smith goes over the top on Mitch Hoare. Mitch Hoare has a word with Alex Smith. Alex Smith is so placid on a football field, he just ignores almost everything. We saw that again in the FFA Cup clash against Adelaide United when he had a very marginal offside decision go against him. Just accepted it and got back into his position. Still no yellow cards. Don't like seeing yellow cards, so that's a good thing. Anton Chetinin has managed to get himself back in control of this game when it threatened to boil over. There is still that potential, of course. Duckworth swings this one in. It's a dangerous ball. It's headed in to the back of the net. Of course it's Nathan Reardon.
What a glorious ball from Joe Duckworth. It's his second goal, sorry, it's his third goal of the season. He scored the equaliser in last year's grand final, and he's continued his run of scoring goals against Olympic. And Warren Moon's just used that opportunity just to tell Mitch Hall perhaps to keep things calm, but Nathan Reardon, the 32-year-old, has scored another important goal in the National Premier League's finals. What a delivery from Joe Duckworth. And now Olympic have it all to do once again. Sam going around the outside. Mitch Hall was there. There were certainly arms involved. No free kick. Much to the joy of those Olympic supporters. It'll be an Olympic throw in an attacking position. There's 11 minutes or so before the half-time break for Olympic to respond. And they're not going to be able to do it if Shelford Deas can't keep the ball in. Just a quick reminder about the Aldi Mini Roos. It's an introductory program for children aged between 4 and 9 years old. You get a 45-minute game-based activity each week. And each child receives an Aldi Mini Roos participant pack, which includes a boot bag, water bottle, football, and a sticker sheet. Make sure you check out where your local club is. Visit playfootball.com.au. Duckworth ended up on his backside, but here's Jason McQuarze. Hoare flips it over the top. Duckworth looked offside, and the flag has gone up. And Anton Chetinin has noticed that as well. Another good opportunity for Lions to make their advantage double in the space of a couple of minutes. Saros. Brindle South does really well. Henry Hoare now. Now there's Mitch as well. Henry Hoare comes away with it. A little bit of pushing and shoving carrying on. Kim switches play inside to Henry Hoare. Here's Jason McQuarze on the edge of the penalty area. Can't get a shot away. And he'll go wide to Andy Thompson. Thompson sweeps it in. It's headed clear by Matt Mundy. And Jez Lofthouse gets the better of Sean Carlos. And Jez Lofthouse is away at the races here. He's still got 3 Lions players to beat, but Lofthouse twists, turns. He's still there on the edge of the penalty area. Saros is on the edge as well, arriving to his left. Instead, he goes to Alex Smith. Smith goes wide, this time to Chris Lucas, and Lucas's shot is very wayward and very high, and not the best way to end that brilliant counter-attacking move, sparked by Jez Lofthouse just picking the pocket of Sean Carlos. Has been a little bit of pushing and shoving. Mitch Hoare, such a placid player and such a placid guy, has been at the heart of it on a couple of occasions. Here's Duckworth though. It came off Duckworth last, I think. That's certainly what Jack Glover would like us to believe. Instead, our Total Tools officiating team have decided that it is a corner, and there aren't any complaints from an Olympic perspective. So another fantastic opportunity for Lions to make their advantage count. They lead by a goal to 0. That goal scored by Nathan Reardon. Will his eyes light up on this occasion as well? They won't be lighting up yet, as Steve White gets a talking to from Anton Chetinin. He'll have to be careful now. Referee's eyes are on it. It's over Reardon's head. Carlos at the back post. It was just over the top. Olympic players starting themselves. Alex Smith tells everyone to calm down. It looks like half-time can't come quickly enough for Olympic as things stand. plenty going in that penalty area, it has to be said. And Dakota Sprang, apologies, Brandon Kumineo just using the experience that he's gained over the last couple of years just to take some time off the ball, let things settle down, and he'll hammer this ball upfield and over the halfway line towards Costa Saros. Saros gets there ahead of Sean Carlos again, and then Saros got absolutely flattened by Tommy Jarrett after the ball had gone. An old-fashioned centre-back play there. Here's Ito. Lofthouse doesn't pick up a return pass. Makwaze has space, picked out by Henry Hoare, has time as well. It's been closed down quickly though by Deus. We'll get the ball out wide to Thompson. Thompson back inside to Makwaze. Makwaze just can't get a shot, and it's not from want of trying over the last couple of minutes. A number of occasions he's been on the edge of the penalty area and looked to swing that right boot over the ball. Instead he'll have to bide his time, Jason Makwaze. Carlos. Henry Hoare. Back to Josh Brindle South. Another good spell of possession here for Lions. The reigning premiers, two-time reigning premiers, who are leading Olympic by a goal to nil. Being pushed back here though. Lions perhaps hoping to entice Olympics and create that space in behind. It's dangerous if they are choosing that approach. But they have retained possession and will attack down the left. Did Lofthouse get up to Andy Thompson? Play's being allowed to continue, and it's a decent shot and well saved by Brandon Kumineo. Mitch Hoare it was who wrapped his foot around that one, and it could have bounced awkwardly in front of Kumineo, but he came forward and claimed it well. Now Mundy can only play that ball out on the full under significant pressure from Joe Duckworth. Henry Hoare comes short. Brindle South instead goes long to Duckworth. Duckworth uses Hoare. Sam just pounced on that loose ball but didn't come up with it. Kim conspiring with Henry Hoare to get the ball to Sean Carlos, but his pass to Makwaze isn't a great one, and Steve White will pick up the pieces over on that far side of the field. Now Deus, what can he do? He'll play the ball back inside, and Mundy this time will go wide to Ito. Ito turns Henry Hoare again, just using the youngster's enthusiasm against him. Ito inside. Good challenge by Kim. Here's Henry Hoare. Henry Hoare's going to bear down on Mundy. Hoare's going to let fly. And it came off Matt Mundy, and it will be a corner for Lions. Quickly, while we wait for this corner to be played, the outdoor football season is almost over. That doesn't mean you have to stop playing futsal. It's perfect for keeping fit and improving your technical skills come season's end. So keep your outdoor team together and play futsal during the off season. Visit playfutsalqld.com.au to find out more. One of the players who does use the futsal season well is Jez Lofthouse. Hasn't had much to do here in an attacking sense though, as Olympic concede another corner. It was weakly punched by Kumineo, but he was under all sorts of pressure. Looked like Henry Hoare standing right in front of him. Duckworth's in there too. Duckworth's taking the corner, apologies. That's Nathan Reardon in the middle. Gone over the top to Carlos at the back post, but that was really well grabbed by Kumineo under all sorts of pressure. Tommy Jarrett and Nathan Reardon trot back, and it's up to Jack Glover to switch play to Kazuya Ito. Ito back inside to Saros now. Saros is going to switch it over to the far side of the field, and Steve White. Deus has gone on a little run. Deus is there. Deus looks to cut the ball back inside. It's just got past, but Alex Smith could level things up here, but it was good defence at the back there by Nathan Reardon. He scored a goal, and he's probably saved one there as well in combination with Josh Brindle South. lightning counter-attack from Olympic. Makwase goes to ground and gets a few words as he picks himself up from Steve White as well. Excellent stuff from Olympic. When they move the ball around like that, it is just a joy to watch. And Shelford-Dias, the initial pass inside to Jez Lofthouse just got deflected behind him. Alex Smith, the pro that he is, was going up into the space, and his shot, he didn't get hold of all of it, it didn't look like. And that allowed Nathan Reardon and Josh Brindle-Stouth both to stick a foot out and block the ball before it even got as far as Luke Borean, who was, it has to be said, ideally placed. Lofthouse's touch letting him down, that's unusual. Olympic just a little bit rattled as we approach the final couple of minutes of this first half. It's been an entertaining first half, slightly cagey, it has to be said, but you'd expect that with so much at stake. Olympic have had their chances though. Alex Smith's touch just a little bit heavy and allows Mitch Hoare to pop in. Now Henry Hoare, now Duckworth receives the ball from Kim, now Henry Hoare. Henry Hoare will look to cross towards Makwase. It was well read by Glover. Henry Hoare has a bit of time and space. He'll head it back to his captain and goal scorer Nathan Reardon. Reardon under pressure from Lucas. Gets to Luke Borean very quickly, does Chris Lucas. He's got pace to burn. A former Bentley Green player. Duckworth goes back to Sean Carlos. Carlos asks a lot of more, but Henry Hoare answers in the affirmative. He gives it to his brother Mitch. Mitch let the ball run away from him slightly. It's still there for Lions though. Mitch Hoare will go wide to Henry.
Costa, come on, Costa.
Pace taken off the ball again. Brindle South to Mitch Hoare. Mitch Hoare will cross, takes a deflection on its way through. Mundy with the touch. It's helped by Kim just over the top of the head of Jason Makwase. Looking to add a 13th goal to his tally this season. He scored 2 last week. He was inches away from getting a shot on target there with his head. Wow, that's to be said, the cross was whipped in with some ferocity. Mundy under pressure from Duckworth. Lassam. White. One last chance, you'd think, for Olympic at the end of this first half. Lofthouse wide. Makwase again disrupting. Earns Olympic a throw in there over on that far side of the field. Jack Glover switches play to Ito. Again, so much space for Kazuya Ito, although he's closed down by Henry Hoare pretty quickly, and Ito has a job on his hands now. Does well though. Now Saros cut inside to Glover again. Glover plays inside to Lassam. Lofthouse. Neat touch from Lofthouse. That's the return ball over on that far side for Dias. Dias fronted up. Lofthouse with the shot, and it's in the back of the net. That is fantastic from Olympic. The perfect response just before the half-time break. And Jez Lofthouse has his 4th goal against Lions for Olympic in his 7th match. It's his 8th of the season. And it sent those supporters over on that far side of the field into delirium. Lions 1, Olympic 1. Jez Lofthouse, the goal scorer. I think we're going to have too much more time to be played in this first half. There might be time enough just for one Lions attack. That is all we're going to have in this first half. Lions, things have been going so well for Warren Moon's side, but then that hammer blow at the end of the half, levelling things up from Jez Lofthouse. A lovely finish into the far corner of the net. That cancelled out Nathan Reardon's 33rd minute opener. A cagey contest thus far in the first Queensland semi-final. And we are where we started, with a goal each. Excellent game of football so far. There's plenty more to come here from AJ Kelly Park. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for the second half after these few messages.
It's football, but it's slowed right down. It's on a smaller pitch, and you've got people that are doing the same football for the same reasons that you want to do it. When you get out there and you start playing, you'll get the bug for it and you'll want to play. I thought you might meet friends and it would get friendly and you'd be talking about football and other people saying, yeah, I used to play and did this and did that. But I didn't think we would take it beyond the football pitch. We've actually taken it into our social lives and gone round to each other's houses and gone out for drinks. It's superb.
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit.
It's healthy and safe. And fun.
I play for celebration.
What's your reason? Join our team.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Sweet ball, it's not bad, it's 40, what a save from Murphy.
It's football, but it's slowed right down. It's on a smaller pitch, and you've got people that are doing the same football for the same reasons that you want to do it. When you get out there and you start playing, you'll get the bug for it and you'll want to play. I thought you might meet friends and it would get friendly and you'd be talking about football and other people saying, yeah, I used to play and did this and did that. But I didn't think we would take it beyond the football pitch. We've actually taken it into our social lives and gone round to each other's houses and gone out for drinks. It's superb.
Welcome back to AJ Kelly Park up here in Redcliffe, where Lions are drawing 1-1 with Olympic. It's the first semi-final of the National Premier League's Queensland competition. And the Premier's Lions did take the lead in the 33rd minute of a very, very cagey match. But then Olympic hit back right on the stroke of half-time through Jez Lofthouse. A sublime finish from Lofthouse, and I'd have to say it probably came against the run of play, but both teams did have their chances, and in fact Olympic probably had the best of the chances. Chris Lucas hitting a shot into Luke Berean's legs when played through on goal, and then Alex Smith having another shot blocked. Lions have gone close a couple of times as well. Sean Carlos having a header just go over the top of the bar, and indeed Joe Duckworth almost scoring as well. But both coaches will have plenty to think about at half time. Warren Moon, who of course will be moving to the Raw Academy next season. He is enjoying his last campaign as Lions coach, for the meantime anyway. And he would have seen his side dominate possession really and enjoy plenty of opportunities, but giving the ball away in quite careless situations on a couple of occasions too. And that really came home to roost when Lofthouse scored his goal. As for Ben Khan, his side haven't played together in this form, at least for quite a few weeks now. They did play each other, play in the format for the FFA Cup with this squad list. And in the league, the last time these two sides did see each other in this situation was all the way back in round 25 when Lions won by 2-0. A goal from Mitch Hoare and Henry Hoare, the difference. Mitch Hoare in particular has seemed particularly fired up. There's been a few little spats going along around the field, but our Total Tools referee Anton Chetinin has not had to reach into his pocket yet. Possibly a case of familiarity breeding contempt. This is the 7th time these two teams have played each other in all competitions in the NPL era in the last 2 seasons. Lions coming into the NPL last season and winning as Olympic in the dark blue shirts get things started. They're kicking from left to right in this second half. Nathan Reardon, the goal scorer for Lions, launches that one upfield in the general direction of Henry Hoare. It's picked off though by Matt Mundy. Here's White. Mundy lets that run. Uses White again. Here's Lassam. Now Deus. Up against Thompson. Deus tries to thread the ball through towards White. He'll pick it back up though after that loose clearance by Jared. Lassam has a lot of space. Lions content to sit off at the moment. There's Alex Smith's first touch of the second half. And Kazuya Ito enjoyed plenty of space over on the left-hand side of the Olympic attacking play, and he's continued his run here, and he goes to ground. A decision needs to be made by Anton Chetinin. That decision is to give a goal kick, which Luke Berean takes incredibly quickly up towards Joe Duckworth, and Duckworth goes up against Mundy here. Duckworth does have possession. He plays the ball back inside as well. Brandon Kumineo on hand to regain possession for Olympic. High tempo start after what was a very cagey opening 45 minutes. We will have a winner tonight, of course, with the grand final scheduled for next week. Kostasaros. Lofthouse. He'll get there, Jez Lofthouse. He scored the goal on the stroke of half-time. Can he do it in the shadows of the half-time interval, the opposite side? Not on that occasion, but Paul looked like he got a bit of a touch More than a bit of a touch on Costa-Saros, but no free kick was given. Thompson's going to be forced back by Deus, and Lucas read that like a book. Lovely outside of the boot. Ball towards Lofthouse. Lofthouse blazes over. Oh, what an opportunity for Jez Lofthouse to grab his second and Olympic second of the game. Would have been an ideal start for Olympic at the start of this second half. Couldn't keep his shot down. Special mention for that outside of the football by Chris Lucas, though. What an absolute peach that was. Lofthouse is going to give chase here again, but Brindle South's header was very forceful and nestled in Luke Berean's arms, and Luke Berean will slowly take the ball out. He's not given as much time as he would have perhaps liked, though, by Jez Lofthouse, who, with the tempestuousness of youth, wants to get things back underway. Loose pass again by Sean Carlos, mopped up by Thompson. Mitch Hoare inside to Kim. Kim skips past two challenges. He'll go past the third now in Jez Lofthouse, but will be going back towards his own goal. His pass though to Henry Hoare was a good one, and now Josh Brindle South. Reardon to Tommy Jarrett. Thompson will go back to Jarrett. And then Nathan Reardon, who scored the opening goal for Lions in the 33rd minute. That's a decent ball to Makwaze. There's a bit of a collision there. Deus and Kumineo just running into each other. Deus was looking over at the far side of the field for a flag. It looked like Makwaze timed his run brilliantly, and what a ball again from Nathan Reardon. Jarrett gets the better of Lucas at the other end. It's the ball ping-pongs from one end of the field to the other. Henry Hoare finds some space now. Sam almost picked off Sean Carlos, and Sean Carlos was forced to rush, and it will be Costa-Saros now over on that far side of the field. White wants the ball on the edge of the penalty area. That's where the cross was intended. It's cleared away only as far as Alex Smith, though. Now will be at the feet of Steve White. White puts it back inside. It's over Lucas's head, and Jez Lofthouse can't keep it in. It'll be a Lions goal kick. Good start for both sides here. Rambunctious in its ferocity this opening 5 minutes. Looks like Warren Moon is thinking about making a change, and that change will be to bring on Marek Madley, the leading goal scorer for Lions this season. He scored 20 of Lions' 89 goals in the National Premier League's Queensland this season, as Lions do win a free kick. Henry Hoare approving of that decision with a thumbs up gesture. A dismissive thumbs up gesture, it has to be said, towards Anton Chechinin, who points towards the sideline, and Marek Madley will be the man who comes onto the field, and he is going to replace Sean Carlos. And Warren Moon did ask Sean Carlos on a couple of occasions how he was feeling. He gave the ball away on a couple of different occasions as well. Sean Carlos did score in the round 10 clash between these two sides, a frenetic game that ended up being decided by Marek Madley in the 92nd minute in a 3-2 victory. Marek Madley arrives to a chorus of boos from the Olympic supporters. What can Madley, who has scored 4 goals in 5 appearances for Lions against Olympic in his National Premier League's Queensland career, what can he do here? He's in good goal scoring form. He scored a hat-trick last week. And he'll look to make his presence felt immediately, and he's being shadowed closely by Shelford Deus. Awkward player to play against Marek Madley. For opposition players and coaches, Henry Hoare arriving at the back post, can't get there before the ball lands in the firm grasp of Brandon Kumineo, and Kumineo will get the ball out to Steve White. White, Smith, and Dias combining. Dias' return pass to Alex Smith, though, cut out by Tommy Jarrett. Olympic building from the back through Matt Mundy. Mundy's going to switch play to Dias, who's closed down quickly by Andy Thompson. White made a run. He was shadowed by Makwaze. He's been really, really good defensively, Jason Makwaze, today. Duckworth wanted the free kick to be given, and after no advantage was forthcoming, Anton Chechinin decided that a free kick would be awarded. And another opportunity here for Lions to get the ball into the box. Still no yellow cards in this game. There has been a couple of little minor flashpoints, just nothing really, as Anton Chechinin has a yard stolen from him in that free kick when his back was turned by Andy Thompson. Just reducing the angle a little bit. Nathan Reardon's gone in behind. It's Madley arriving at the back post. It's headed over his own crossbar, though, by the Olympic defence, and it will be a corner kick for the reigning premiers. Both teams hunting a second straight grand finals appearance. Last time it was these two who met, and Lions winning 2-1 after extra time. That time it was Olympic who took an early lead that was cancelled out by Nathan Reardon's header. Nathan Reardon getting the opening goal on this occasion to cancel out Steve White's opener. What twists and turns will there be in this semi-final? Still there, Henry Hoare. It's pinballing around. It will be a goal kick. Despite Henry Hoare protesting, Jez Lofthouse was the closest Olympic player there, but there are a number of bodies that stop that ball from going towards the back of the net. That's a good opportunity for Lions. They just couldn't get a shot away. Chris Lucas. Jared does really well there defensively. It'll be a throw-in for Olympic. Lucas. Dias. Neat little flick from Dias, but it was an over-enthusiastic challenge from Mitch Hoare that gives away the free kick. Steve White's assessing his options. Zoe Ito fancied a bit of a sneaky one there, but was told to get back, and White delivers this ball towards the edge of the penalty area. It's gone goalwards. Shelford Dias ended up on the ground and cast a furtive glance towards Anton Chechinin. And the ball is at the feet of Joe Duckworth, being shadowed very closely by Jez Lofthouse, who gives away a throw-in over on the far side of the field. Football being played by both these sides. You'd expect that from two teams who certainly deserve their spot in the top four. There has been a clear top four all season. Should lead to a fantastic finals campaign, of course, which continues tomorrow with Gold Coast Knights hosting Peninsula Power, 6 o'clock down in Carrara. Rafe Griffin will be on the call for that. You'll be able to watch that on the Football Queensland YouTube page, Facebook and website, as Madley goes to ground, having been fouled by Kazuya Ito, an incredulous Kazuya Ito who can't believe that that was given against him, that free kick. And Lions, who attempted to get that ball played quickly, have been called back, and it's probably in their favour that they were, because it wasn't a very intelligent quick free kick, and with the success that they have been having in causing problems in the Olympic defence in these early stages of the first half, you'd expect one of Joe Duckworth or Andy Thompson to deliver this ball onto the head of Marek Madley. Warren Moon wants Nathan Reardon in the box. He's proven his worth in there early in this game by scoring the opening goal. It's chipped in by Duckworth, and Warren Moon spins around, disgusted with that effort. The Olympic fans are pretty happy with it. And I dare say the Olympic defenders are as well. Deas can't keep that ball from Glover in, and it'll be a Lions throw in. Andy Thompson will take it. He'll put it up towards Duckworth. Deas stands his ground and stands his ground well. Glover gives away another throw in though. Lions crabbing their way down the field on this near touchline. Nathan Reardon wants to take this, turning provider for a ball into the box. Reardon dries his hands. Everything's dry in Brisbane at the moment, except for this lush playing surf at AJ Kelly Park. Rather anticlimactic, that long throw, as Jared picks up possession in the centre circle. Now Thompson. Here's Reardon again. Reardon back to Andy Thompson. It's just the back four at the moment as Brindle South is invited to the party. Thompson. Plenty of movement ahead of him though. Makwaze has space but is not utilised. Danny Kim now wants to get involved and inserts himself into the back four. He won't get possession though as Jared is allowed to run. Thompson closed down quickly. Now Makwaze gets possession. Mitch Hoare. Duckworth. Nathan Reardon. Warren Moon pleading patience. Wants them to move the ball well and intelligently and maintain possession in this attacking area. Got a little bit loose, and that's a really good tackle from Shelford Deas, and Olympic will spring the attack now. Here's Saros. Saros might have a go himself here. Has Lucas in support, and his pass ended up at Lucas's feet, but I'm not entirely sure. Saros knew exactly where Chris Lucas was, and the chance rather dies its inevitable death in the face of this Lions defence, and now the attack is sprung in the other direction. Here's Merritt Madley, the second half substitute, Lions leading goal scorer, out on the right side of the field. Alex Smith, Olympics veteran midfielder, gets back there and does his defensive duties and will release Jean-Philippe Lassam. A little bit lackadaisical there from Deas, but Lions can't make that lapse in concentration count. Will it be Olympic who take full advantage? Here's a Lions ball. Deas is disappointed, but you half wonder whether he knew and was just trying to use body language to deflect the attention. Just letting Costa Saros know that he needed to be closing down the opportunity for Danny Kim to get his foot on the ball. That ball will be allowed to run out of play. Early start, high tempo start to this second half has rather lapsed in the last few minutes. Strong chest from Madley. Kim. Madley again. Deas used his body illegally, according to Anton Shetinin. Madley is a master at winning those sorts of free kicks. He just puts his body in the way and hopes the defender will do the rest. And on that occasion, Shelford Deas obliged. And an opportunity once again for Lions to get that ball into the penalty area. They have had the better of it in this second half, you'd have to say, as Steve White, wearing the captain's armband, just questions that decision with Anton Shetinin. Matt Mundy wants to continue the conversation as well. He'd be better served getting himself in a position to head this ball. It's aimed towards Madley. It might have come off Madley's head. If it did, it went in the wrong direction, and Nathan Reardon attempted the spectacular. And it would have been spectacular on the turn had he hit that volley into the back of the net, but Brennan Kumineos quite content to watch that ball just drift harmlessly wide and high of his goal. Glover. Lofthouse and Lucas were both there. Olympic attacking in numbers at the moment. Here's Saros. He'll go back to Ito. Smith is on hand and he'll gain possession of the ball now. Lofthouse. Alex Smith will switch play now.
Smithy, get Kazuya! Kazuya!
Dias gets past Makwaze. That's the first defensive mistake Makwaze's made all night. The pass through towards Lassam just a little bit too heavy. And we will continue. 1-1 the score. Nathan Reardon got the opener in the 33rd minute. And Jez Lofthouse snared an equaliser in stoppage time at the end of the first half. That's how things stand at the moment as Brian goes long towards Duckworth. Kim just nips in there ahead of a tired looking Costa Saros. Alex Smith picks up possession though for Olympic, and there's danger here for Lions. It's 4-on-4. Smith's going to go himself. He goes wide of the target. Hasn't had too much to say in an attacking sense, Alex Smith, in this game. Did see a shot blocked by Josh Brindle South and Nathan Reardon in the first half, but that was the first time he's really stretched his legs and gone in an attacking position with the ball at his feet. He'll be disappointed that that ball ended up flying wide of the goal. Madley making a real nuisance of himself in the air, gets the better of Matt Mundy. It'll be a Lions throw-in in front of the Olympic supporters who've been in fine voice all night. There's a little bit of a lull now though, the nerves perhaps getting to these supporters as much as the players. A spot in the grand final is at stake. Makwaze goes round Dias. Dias did everything he could within the letter of the law, and that ball was almost played in perfectly for Duckworth, but it'll be Olympic at the other end now. Here's Jez Lofthouse. Barine comes out. It's a really good intervention by Thompson though. Barine and Thompson ended up colliding, I think. Jez Lofthouse almost played in there. Barine had to make the decision to come, but Thompson was there and he timed that challenge absolutely perfectly. Dias back inside to White. White's going to try and thread the needle to Lucas. But Makwaze and Mitch Hoare do well to get that ball away from danger. Mundy has space. It's being shadowed by Madley, but not with any real intent. From the Czech star. Glover has enough time to assess his options. Alex Smith will spread the ball wide now and upfield to White. Once again, Andy Thompson. He's had a good couple of minutes as the Olympic left back. Forced into a couple of really key interceptions and tackles. He's been everywhere across that back line as Kazuya Ito injects a little bit of pace. Now Saros. Lofthouse is in support over on that far side of the field, but it'll be back at the feet of Kazuya Ito. Now Lofthouse has two players ahead of him. Was he fouled? It looked like he might have been. Duckworth was the player who got the touch on Lofthouse, and Lofthouse is gingerly limping around for forward line now. He's been told to get inside by Costa Saros. That's where he won't have to do as much running to get these passes. He's struggling a little bit, is Jez Lofthouse, at the moment after that contact from Joe Duckworth. A few hefty collisions now. A bit of space now for Duckworth, and now Madley. Madley has a lot of space in front of those Olympic supporters, but they go up as one when the ball is allowed to run out of play by Madley, and he stalks away frustratedly as Lions' leading goal scorer for the season. He will be disappointed in that, but Kazuya Ito can't maintain possession. Fortunately for him, Saros is on hand to win it back, and Olympic will look to break down this right-hand side now. Here's Steve White. Deus. Lofthouse wants it. He's moving a lot freer now, is Jez Lofthouse. He cuts it back inside to White. Deus again. Lofthouse, excellent ball from Deus. Lofthouse with the cross. It doesn't beat the first man, which is Tommy Jarrett. But Tommy Jarrett's clearance is picked off by his opposite number, Steve White. Alex Smith almost broke through there, but it was good defending again from Lions. They do have the best defence in the competition. They conceded just 20 goals in the regular season. That's a league low. Kim. Henry Hoare, he's been quiet in the second half, but he picks up possession now. Passes to older brother Mitch. Mitch gives it back to Henry. Henry helps it on once more. Madley's in the middle. He gets his head to it. Doesn't get enough contact. Not meaningful contact anyway. Clearance is only as far as Thompson. Now Kim. Mitch Hoare has space on this left-hand side of the attack for Lions. Goes back inside to Henry Hoare. Henry and Mitch working together. Goal scorer Nathan Reardon, captain for Lions today. Reardon with a aggressive cross towards Madley. Possibly had more time than he thought, did Nathan Reardon, to pick his pass. Just attempted to catch the Olympic defence out. Henry Hoare has his arms outstretched, and I think he's perhaps suggesting that he should have been a little bit more patient with their build-up play on that occasion, Lions. Chase is coming in. Glover does really well. Makwaze put the pressure on, and it was too much pressure, as it turns out, and it will be a free kick to Olympic. Players getting their fluids in. It is very, very dry at the moment. Some confusion, but Anton Jeptinin allows play to continue now. Long ball forward. Jared heads it clear. Mitchell flicks it on. Makwaze takes the ball under control. Gets away from Deus. Plays in Madley. Madley is offside. Promising move that for Lions. Here are a few supporters from Lions making their voices felt. Some of the younger variety behind the goal. They are defending at the moment. Glover is waiting for an option to present itself. That option comes in the form of his captain, Steve White. White goes to ground. He got a little bit of assistance in falling from Marek Madley. Nothing doing, says the referee. Still yet to see a card in this game as Smith switches play to an isolated Shelford Deus on this near side. His pass inside to White isn't the best though. And Lions will try to clear their lines now through Andy Thompson, and Thompson does well in the end. Madley and Mundy both jump for it. And Olympic now enjoying a spell of possession now at the back. trying to prize an opening in this ironclad Lions defence. Knockout football. Olympic have had a little bit more experience of that this season. Their run in the FFA Cup. Saros tries to go around the outside. Sees that way shut off though by Josh Brindle-South, and Josh Brindle-South does well. Kim. Duckworth. His pass forward was blocked. The ball finds itself back to Luke Bourrien, who was closed down by Chris Lucas. That's a really good ball out wide to Andy Thompson, who had a bit of space. Makwaze goes down. It looked like he was looking for that free kick, but in the end it comes up trumps for Lions anyway. Mitch Hoare tries to thread the ball to his younger brother. And there might be a little bit of concern here for Jean-Philippe Lassam, who's come up a little bit sore after he potentially caught Makwaze. There must have been a little bit of contact perhaps, because Sam is limping around the midfield. He's made a pretty tough stuff, is Jean-Philippe Lassam, as that ball goes forward towards Chris Lucas. Lucas, under the attentions of Reardon, stays on his feet, tries to play the ball back inside, but it finds its way back to him by way of Danny Kim. That time it's Thompson who gets his foot there for Lions, and Makwaze does well to find Mitch Hoare, and Mitch Hoare squeezes through a couple of Olympic players and then uses his body illegally and gets in a bit of a tangle with Shelford-Deas, our fourth official. Just has a bit of a word. Steve White getting involved in a conversation with Warren Moon, which right in front of a referee perhaps wouldn't be the best thing he could do, the Olympic captain. Mitch Hoare is getting a bit of advice from Anton Chetinin though. The fourth official is in attendance. The conversation's still going on between our referee and the Lions number 8, Mitch Hoare. He's been fired up all afternoon, it has to be said, Mitch Hoare. White goes short. Makwaze picks up Diaz's pass though. And now Henry Hoare is dispossessed. And Alex Smith almost looked like he was meant to kick that ball away and thought better of it when he realised the referee was standing in the way of where he wanted to kick that ball to. And Luke Bourrien didn't have an option, and he's letting his teammates know. Olympics sensing an opportunity here, you'd think. 15 minutes to go in this match. Diaz plays it right into the chest of Jason Makwaze, and it might have been a touch lower than the chest from Makwaze, judging by the way he's limping away from that. Looks like he'll be okay though. Lofthouse gets past the attentions of Kim, overran it slightly though, and it was good defence from Tommy Jarrett. Lions will look to spring the trap over on that far side of the field, but the pass forward towards Madley wasn't the best from Duckworth. Smith to Lucas, to White, now wide to Diaz. Diaz has to come back inside, and Steve White takes it upon himself to take possession. White, Lofthouse, White on the overlap, it's up towards Chris Lucas! Lucas with the header! That is sublime from Olympic! Absolutely sublime ball from Steve White. The header was perfect from Chris Lucas. He ghosted in between the two centre-backs, and Olympic have the lead here. Ben Khan has instantly made a substitution, and that substitution has been to take off Costa Saros. I noted that he was looking a little bit sluggish over on that far side of the field and was in fact puffing after just 20 minutes, and he is really sucking in the big ones down on our bench away to our left. And Olympic don't have many attacking options on the bench, although Christian Waters was used as a striker last week against Gold Coast Knights. So instead it is Brandon Kumineo, who actually scored last week. Sorry, James Kumineo, who scored last week from the penalty spot. I don't think he'll be given penalty duties today unless we have to go that far. And Lions can find an equaliser. As it stands, that's what they're going to have to do, and Lucas could be in again here. It's only well read defending by Tommy Jarrett that stopped that from being a much more pressing opportunity for Olympic. And Warren Moon is trying to switch things up with the personnel that he's got on the field, but I imagine the personnel will be changing shortly because Nathan Shepherd is being told to get himself ready. He's being shown all manner of diagrams from a folder down away to our right. Here's Lassam, Steve White, Lucas gets past one, tries to play in White. Lassam, back to Chris Lucas with the cross. There's nobody there, so Lofthouse has to give chase. Gives it back inside to Alex Smith though. Smith goes to Lassam, who is not moving well at all. Keeps possession for Olympic though, Jez Lofthouse. Kumineo goes back. Madley gives chase though. And James Kumineo was rather bailed out by his brother there. Brandon clears upfield. Here's an opportunity now. Ito, Dias, White, Smith, Lucas. Back post is Ito. It was Danny Kim who got there. Lofthouse is still in attendance though. Lofthouse couldn't get the return ball from Dias, and it was a strong challenge from Henry Hoare, and now Makwaze will go upfield. Steve White does really, really well though. Champagne football from Olympic at the moment. All the flicks are being brought out. Can Lofthouse put an exclamation point on it? He can't get the return ball that time from Kazui Ito. They're popping up all over the pitch of these Olympic players. And up the other end, here's Madley. Madley wants an option. Makwaze goes down. Certainly nothing in that, and we haven't had a change or a break in play, so Lions are going to have to wait before introducing Nathan Shepherd, who has been ready for a minute or so now. And that's a really good pass from Chris Lucas towards Steve White. Olympic imbued with a sense of confidence after going ahead. That's a lovely inside ball by Lucas to Ito, playing in a much more advanced position of late. Smith, Lofthouse, and the return pass is out for a corner. It took a deflection on its way through. We will not have the substitution as yet. A couple of players stretching their hamstrings at the moment. Among them is Mitch Hoare, who's been given everything. It might not be the only substitution we see. I think Adam Sawyer is getting ready away to our right as well, former Raw youth player. So a couple of changes on the cards for Warren Moon's side. It'll be his final two, it has to be said, having already introduced Marek Madley for Sean Carlos early on. Corner's swept in. Kim heads it away. Ito with a flashing shot across the face of goal. He hasn't scored yet this season, Kazui Ito. Wouldn't have been a bad time to do it. We're going to have a double substitution. And it is going to be Adam Sawyer coming on and Nathan Shepherd. Andy Thompson is one of the players being withdrawn. Danny Kim the other. Facilitated a slight change in formation as well. I think Henry Hoare's being told to go slightly forward, I believe. That is a roll of the dice, a significant roll of the dice from Warren Moon. We'll just have about enough time to remind you of the website, footballqueensland.com.au, for all the latest NPL, NPLW and Football Queensland Premier League community news across the state. Make sure you visit the website. We'll give you all the details of the finals as well, as Josh Brindle-South has his pocket picked by James Kumineo, the substitute. He releases Jez Lofthouse on the run. And Jez Lofthouse puts the ball through the legs of Reardon. He'd have enjoyed that, Jez Lofthouse, but then in trying to get past the Lions captain, who showed a lot of experience, it has to be said, he was fouled by Jez Lofthouse. So the chance goes begging, and Lions have injected a little bit of pace here. Henry Hall hits the ground. Mitch Hall picks it up. It's deflected back though to Tommy Jarrett, and Tommy Jarrett looks to play the ball forward. There's nothing ahead of him though, so he goes all the way across. Kazuya Ito playing in an attacking position at the moment. Olympic defend in a 4-4-2 formation, and Steve White just read that one like a book, and he's picked up possession and has a lot of space to run into. Lucas has made the run. Steve White's put foot to ball. Luke Berean comfortably gathered though. Brindle South goes long. It was dealt with well by Deas. That is a handball. It should be a handball. We saw a handball given against Jez Lofthouse earlier in this game. That's the argument that Ben Khan is making. We've seen them given. Brindle South hits the deck. The Olympic supporters are in absolute ecstasy over on that far side of the field. It looks like the barrier is holding up, unlike the one at Perry Park, and indeed the one at Lions State in the grand final last year. Olympic fans have been known to perhaps over enthusiastically celebrate some of their goals, but they might want to pay attention here as Mitch Hoare delivers that ball. It's far too deep though. It's into the rather more youthful Lions supporters behind that goal, instead the head of Marek Madley, and the chance goes begging. Doesn't look like Brandon Kumineo's in any rush to take this. Ben Khan having a conversation despite the high stakes about the relative merits of people being booked. I don't think the fourth official was particularly enamoured with the rather pleasant conversation that was going on. Lucas might need some attention here. There was a significant knock when he hit the ground. It is a head knock, so the referee's done very well to stop play. Anton Chetinin, who the coaches were right, I mean, I think it was, saying that Anton Chetinin hasn't booked anyone in 3 years. I'm not quite sure that statistic stacks up, but I don't have the figures in front of me. So we will have a short break in play while Chris Lucas gets some attention, and Warren Moon is actually going to give an impromptu coaching session here. It does look like Tommy Jarrett is getting a little bit of attention as well. He's been told to get off the field if he is going to get some attention. Just a reminder, 6 o'clock tomorrow is the second semi-final, where the winner of this game will find out who they take on in the final. It's Gold Coast Knights taking on Peninsula Power. 6 o'clock down at the Croatian Sports Centre in Carrara, and Rafe Griffin will be your caller for that one. Concern about head injuries. It's right that Chris Lucas gets the attention. He scored the go-ahead goal in the 76th minute of this match. That was after Jez Lofthouse equalised in the shadows of half-time. His first half stoppage time, in fact, with the goal that cancelled out Nathan Reardon's 33rd minute opener. And this will only be the second time that Olympic have beaten Lions in the last 2 years in their 7th match. Still a long way to go yet though. Funnily enough, that victory from Olympic came all the way back in round 3 of the 2018 season. when Jez Lofthouse scored the only goal in the 7th minute at Goodwin Park. So, plenty to think about, and it will be a winning run of 5 matches for Lions over Olympic that ends should the scoreline remain the same, but we still have time yet for this match to be decided. It's a good opportunity perhaps to remind you that Football Queensland has launched a new referees website. It's a comprehensive online resource for referees across Queensland. It's been developed to assist match officials of all skill levels and qualifications to grow their understanding of the game and progress through refereeing pathways in the state. So make sure you visit that website. You can find it via footballqueensland.com.au. Think it's just going to be a drop ball and Lions are going to drop the ball and play the ball upfield. It's not going to make it way to Brandon Kumineo. Instead, it'll be the other Kumineo, James, who plays it back to his brother Brandon, and Brandon is closed down by Jason Makwaze. And here is Chris Lucas showing no ill effects to keep that ball in. Showed an extreme turn of pace that he's well known for. Chris Lucas there. His pass was not the best. And Lion launched it upfield towards Madley. Madley was hit before the ball got there by Jack Glover. And Madley goes down, holding his face, is he? Shelford Deus was the Olympic player closest, but it didn't really look like there was anything in that, I have to admit. Didn't have as good a view on it as I might have, but Madley has gone to ground. He's picked himself up now, and that's our first yellow card of the game for Shelford Deus. I have to wonder what referee Shetinin saw there, because if he did hit Marek Madley in any untoward way, then I'm pretty sure the colour of the card wouldn't have been yellow. Lions are being told to wait. Anton Shetinin not quite ready and not quite in position. Could be important, his positioning, when the ball goes into either penalty area now, as Nathan Reardon launches the ball towards the penalty area. It's cleared only as far as Shepherd. His cross in though. Cleared in turn, and now Jez Lofthouse is on the rampage. Lofthouse goes past Jared. Lofthouse's shot towards goal can't be kept in play by Luke Barry, and it will be an Olympic corner. Of course, Warren Moon's tenuous Lions coach will not end tonight. There'll be 5 minutes added on at the end of this match. Ben Khan not happy with that. Seems reasonable to me, I have to admit. There was a long delay while Chris Lucas was on the ground. Olympic could be in here. Well defended by a mass of orange shirts. And it's launched upfield by Reardon, but Reardon's ball towards Marek Madley is off target. And we're in those 5 minutes of stoppage time now. So saying Warren Moon, his coaching tenure won't end here. Take Lions through the National Premier League's final series. And they take on the South Australian and indeed reigning National Premier League's national champions, as it were, Bayswater City. That'll be at Lions Stadium, Sunday the 22nd of September. A long season for Lions. Started all the way back in February, of course. Makwaze could have fouled Shelford Deus. It wasn't given. Makwaze took that throw in quickly. I think Lions wanted Nathan Reardon to deliver that ball in as a long throw. They'll have another opportunity though. And Warren Moon is sending everybody up. everyone bar Luke Berean, although I wouldn't put it past Luke Berean, who's making his way towards the halfway mark. We're going to have a substitution as it stands anyway, and Chris Lucas is coming off. He scored in the 76th minute, Chris Lucas, to give his side the lead. And he is being replaced by centre-back come striker Christian Waters. I imagine he'll be doing defensive duties, and defensive duties only in the final couple of minutes of this match, whatever remains of stoppage time. It's a good shift from Chris Lucas, though. He's dangerous throughout. The ball comes in. Alex Smith was up. Sawyer hooks it back towards Madley, and it came off Brandon Kumaneo last, and it will be a Lions corner. This game is not over yet. Every single player coming up. You think maybe even Luke Berean should come up. Luke Berean is being told to go up. There's a minute to go. Luke Berean has decided to stay instead. That's excellent stuff from Brandon Kumaneo, and a free kick is given. Now goes to ground holding his face. He'll eat up a couple of extra seconds, but he was under significant pressure then, Kumaneo, and did absolutely spectacularly to help that ball on its way rather than end up on the head of a Lions player. Steve White, rather ill-advisedly, is getting involved in a conversation with some Lions supporters behind the goal. Don't want to see that, and you wouldn't expect that. There has been some ill feeling between the two sides. Haven't seen much of it in the second half, we have to say. And that animosity hasn't been shared by the benches. They've been engaged in some quite entertaining discussions throughout the course of the evening. But it appears that Olympic are heading to their second successive grand final. They won the inaugural National Premier League's Queensland title all the way back in 2013. A victory on penalties over Brisbane City on that occasion back in 2013 at Goodwin Park. It'll be Perry Park that they head to next weekend. Of course, that match will be live via Football Queensland's channels, but still not over yet, as Brindle South does really well. He's left an Olympic player on the ground. Didn't look like there was a foul given away. The return pass towards Adam Sawyer is not a good one, and we're going to have a bit of attention being paid to the Olympic player on the ground. I can't quite see who it is. He's in a lot of pain, it has to be said. It looked like he might have just caught the follow-through of Josh Brindle South. Two coaches have shaken hands. I mean, in some sports that's paramount, or tantamount to a concession of the match, as the stretch has been called for. So that's really bad news for whoever's down. I can't quite see who it is as of yet, but he's in all sorts of pain, and we will continue the clock ticking over. But it's the Olympic supporters who are in fine voice, and it'll be the Olympic supporters and players who are singing tonight. They're going to reach the grand final from 4th spot. Last season they made the grand final having finished 2nd on the ladder. Well, it's Alex Smith who's down. He's got himself to his feet, so there will be no need for the stretcher, but he will hobble off. That is not a sight that Ben Khan will want to see from his inspirational midfielder. Substitution is going to be made straight away. Daniel Driver, former youth player, coming on. Fingers crossed that Alex Smith's injury is not as bad as it looks. He's not a player who normally goes down for no reason, so hopefully it's just a knock. Perhaps he caught him on the end of the knee. That can be painful, but need no real lasting damage. Can't be much time remaining. Brindle South heads the ball back inside. Jean-Philippe Lassam hammers the ball up field as far as he can put it, only as far as Nathan Shepherd. And that is the end of the game. Olympic end their lines. Who do the players are on their knees? That's what it means to Steve White. They've given everything out there Olympic today, and they're going to have to do it again next week as well. Lions as premiers out of the finals race. And Olympic well worth their victory. They battled hard in the first half. Lions probably on the balance deserve to go into the sheds a goal to the good, having opened the scoring through Nathan Reardon in the 33rd minute, but Jez Lofthouse had other ideas, and his goal in stoppage time at the end of that first half gave Olympic a real sign of life, and they came out in the second half full of beans and more than deserved their chances that they made and then took through Chris Lucas. It was a sublime goal. Steve White provided the cross and Chris Lucas finished perfectly. It was just football at its very, very best from Olympic. Lions will need to pick themselves up now. They have the National Premier League's finals series yet to come. First of those matches coming on the 22nd of September at Lions Stadium against the team that beat them in the overall grand final last year. So Warren Moon has not coached his last Lions game yet, and he'll hope that it will not end at the hands of the South Australians again this time around. But Ben Khan, who only got off a flight a couple of hours ago from South Korea, where he's continuing his pro licensed education, he'll have been given plenty of juice and indeed energy from that result and from that game. He'll have a whole week to prepare now, and he'll face the winner of the second semi-final between Gold Coast Knights and Peninsula Power. 6 o'clock from Carrara is when that match will take place. But that's where we'll wrap things up for now. Rafe Griffin will be your caller in the next match. And we hope to see you again for the grand final next Saturday at Perry Park. If you can't get there to Perry Park, and let's hope we do have a fantastic attendance at the home of Queensland football, let's hope you join us on the live stream. I've been Simon Smell. This has been a double take production for Football Queensland. We hope to see you next time and enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you next time.